video, I'm going to show you how to go from general form to standard form of a circle. Now, let's see this equation here. This is still not on general form. In order to make it general form, we equal it to 0. So on the left side, you keep it as it is. On the right side, I'm going to move all these terms to the left of the inequality. The 8x becomes negative 8x. The negative x squared becomes plus x squared. And the plus 3 becomes negative 3. Now I'm going to regroup them in order of exponents and in order of x's as well. So I'm going to have x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 6y. Minus 1 minus 4 is minus 4. Minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. Now, that's the general form. So now, what I'm going to do is make it into standard form. In order to do that, we're going to use an equation called b over 2 squared. B here is going to be the numbers that are multiplying x and y. So in this case, b is negative 8, and b is negative 6 for y. So I'm going to have for x, I'm going to have negative 8 over 2 squared. I suggest you simplify this fraction first. Negative 8 over 2 is negative 4 squared. Negative 4 squared is positive 16. For y, we have negative 6 over 2 squared. Negative 6 over 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. So these numbers, I'm going to add them on both sides. And this is how you're going to add them. You have x squared minus 8x. I'm going to add the 16 because it corresponds to the x. And then you have y squared minus 6y. I'm going to add the 9 because it corresponds to the y. And the 4, I'm going to move it to the other side. So I'm going to have 4 on the other side. Now I'm going to add 16 and 9 as well. Now notice that you can't just add numbers into an equation because it's going to change the equation unless you add them on both sides. So now, why do we do that? Well, notice that these 3 terms and these 3 terms are all going to factor into a perfect square. And the perfect square is going to be x minus b over 2. Well, x plus b over 2. In this case, b over 2 is negative 4 for the x, so x minus 4 squared. And in this case is negative 3, so y minus 3 squared. And then you have 16 plus 4 is 20 plus 9 is 29. Now, this is the standard form. Notice that with the standard form, you can find the center and the radius. So, the center, it's a coordinate. It's going to be the opposite of the sign of what you have inside the parentheses. So, for example, x minus 4 squared, the center here for x is going to be positive 4. Y minus 3 squared, the center here is going to be positive 3. Then, since r squared equals 29, then that means that r equals radical 29, which can be approximately 5.38. Okay? And the reason I want the approximation is to be able to graph it. So let's graph it. So center of 4, 3, so right here. It's 5.38, so I'm going to have 5 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 0.38. 5 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 0.38. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me shift this a little bit. 5 and 0.38. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 0.38. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace it around. It's not going to be a perfect circle here. Okay, and that'll be my circle. Now, notice that this circle has x and y intercepts. Okay, let's just point them out for illustration. So here it crosses the y-axis, and then here it also crosses the y-axis. Those are your y-intercepts. Notice that here it crosses the x-axis, and here it crosses the x-axis. Therefore, those are your x-intercepts. So let's find them. Now, in order to find them, I usually use the standard form. So for the x-intercepts, you plug in y for 0. So you have x minus 4 squared plus 0 minus 3 squared equals 29. So you have x minus 4 squared, 0 minus 3 is negative 3 squared equals 29. X minus 4 squared, negative 3 squared is positive 9. In order to solve for x, we need to do the opposite of PEMDAS. So we have to subtract first. So x minus 4 squared is 29 minus 9. X minus 4 squared is 20. Now, in order to get rid of the square, we have to square root. So x minus 4 equals plus or minus radical 20. Therefore, to finish the solution, we have x equals 4 plus or minus radical 20. Notice that I had to add 4 on both sides. So my y-intercepts are going to be, wait, am I looking for the y? Yeah, my x-intercepts, my bad. 4 plus radical 20, comma 0, 4 minus radical 20, comma 0. Now for my y-intercepts, I put x equals 0. So you have 0 minus 4 squared, y minus 3 squared equals 29. Same procedure, this becomes negative 4 squared, y minus 3 squared equals 29. Negative 4 squared is 16. We subtract the 16 on both sides. Okay, let's continue here. (29 minus 16 is 13. To get rid of the square, we take the square root. We have y minus 3 plus or minus radical 13. And then to finish, we add the 3 on both sides, and we get y equals 3 plus or minus radical 13. Therefore, your y-intercepts are going to be 0, comma 3 plus radical 13, 0, comma 3 minus radical 13. And those are your intercepts. Okay. So that will be all for this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below or ask me in class. Thank you.